May and it's time to plant our plants in the garden, right? Nope, it's been cold. So I'm being very cautious. We're not going to plant our plants there. Instead, today we're going to transplant everything to bigger pots and wait another couple of weeks until it's definitely warm. Rosie, you are growing poppies, and you can see you have 10 containers like this, but I've already worked on them. And I'm showing you how I'm thinning the seedlings. And these are called seedlings. They are super baby plants. And I want to have only maybe 2 or 3 in this container. And then I'm going to transplant the whole container into a larger container so it can grow even bigger. So I'm going to start in the middle and just pull out the ones kind of in the middle. And you can still see there's quite a few. So if I take a tweezer and pull out, let's see, there's one here, right there, but there's one right next to it. So I want to get that one out. And then we have a few more. I'll pull that. And let's see, we've got this one. And I'm pulling out this one. These are smaller. I try to keep the biggest ones. They are the strongest. And it's still pretty wobbly. Oh, looking pretty good here. We're down to 4. So now we just have 4 in there. Now because they're so tiny, I'm not going to take the whole plant out. I'm just going to cut the bottom off of this, like this, because this is made out of like a paper substance. And I'm just going to break apart the edge, like this. Just break it apart. Leaving it all together. And then I'm going to put it in a larger container. This size. So you'll see that in a second, but that's what I'm going to put it in. So I have the little seedlings thinned out. There are 3 in this pot. So what I'm going to do is just pinch off the bottom, just to make sure that the roots can go through. And it's falling apart a little bit, but that's okay. Just kind of make it easy for the roots to get through. And then what I'm going to do, since they're so tiny and so fragile, is I'm just going to take a little bit of the soil out and put the soil right inside and allow these little tiny guys to have a bigger space to grow in. I've got it kind of ripped up on the sides here, and they'll just use that as dirt. Maybe I'll take a little bit more out. There we go. And I'm just putting it in there, and they can now have a little bit more root space. And we will water them, and then we will put them outside when it's warm, over 60, and then I bring them in until it is a little bit warmer consistently outside. When they get to be about this big, that's when I'm going to transplant them into the garden. So Evelyn, here are your nasturtiums. We've got 4 planted there, and we've got a couple of more to plant here. And let's see whether I can get this to tilt down a little bit without falling over. And I've got a pretty good root ball here. As you can see, whoops, there's something stuck to it. Let's take it out. So we have a root ball, and we're going to put it right inside the little container, and we'll just wait a little bit longer before we put things out. Hopefully it will get warm enough, and then we'll have our garden planted. So these are nice, and those are a little spindly, but anyway. So I'll get my watering can and I will water these. And we will put them into the container, and then they are going to go outside. Our plants here will go outside, and they will end up being conditioned for the weather, and then we will put them in the garden. So Ryan, here is the bird's nest gourd. It's going to get really large. So I'm going to give it a much bigger pot than the other plants, and hopefully I'll be able to plant it in the ground in a week. It's been such a cold spring. Anyway, I'd like to show you that the roots are coming right through the pot, which is good. I'm still going to break it open so that it's just so much easier for those roots to escape. And what I'll do is I'll put it inside this. So in it goes. I'll give it a little bit more space beneath it. And let's see, you go like so. And I just fill it with, I'll give you a little bit more, some soil. And this plant will now have a lot more space to grow in while we're waiting for the weather to change. So here we go. That looks pretty good, and we'll give it a water. And there we are. I'll give it a little more soil to help it stand up. There we go. That looks really nice. So I transplanted all your plants, splitting them up, thinning them out, and putting them into larger pots so that they can become stronger and taller. It's been a cold spring, so we will just wait and be a little bit more patient. So right here we have Ryan's plant. We've got his gourd and some cherry tomatoes. We've got Rosie's poppies, and we have Evelyn's nasturtiums. So that will work out really well. We'll be planting more seeds once we get to the garden. So the next time you see these plants, they will be planted outside.